Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 10th of January 2020 or 2020, however you want to say it, to talk about tonight's Friday Night Smackdown. Give me 1 second to change something, guys. Just be really quick. As we do, we'll let some of you guys get into the live chat. Jump on in. Also, I do want to let you guys know that episode 2 of our new series, PWUnlimited Rank It, has dropped today on YouTube for all non-member and Patreon subscribers. So if you want to go check out that video, you are more than welcome to, because hey, we want all of you to go check out the Rank It series. Episode 2 does take a look at the TLC match from SummerSlam 2000. The season does then finish up next week on next Friday when we watch the TLC match from WrestleMania 17. But let's see who's here with us in the live chat right now. We do have Mick Thompson, Henry Cavallo, Keith Hamill, Ethan Taylor, Broken Dreams, Ashley Robinson, Derek Bocek, George John Cox, and so many more of you. As far as tonight's SmackDown goes, I thought it was kind of like I think it was what I said about Raw. Not a great show, not a bad show. It was a show with really nothing to complain about. Well, actually, there was one thing to complain about, and I'll get to that, the whole where the hell was Sasha Banks thing. But other than that, I thought the show was all right. It built stuff up. We learned of some, more names for the Royal Rumble. John Morrison's first match back. And I liked his whole joke about, well, they wanted me just to come back in the Rumble. Well, actually, I digress. I'm not going to give that. I'm not going to talk about that yet, because that's the first thing on the show. We'll get into that. But anyways, just, looking here, waiting for a little bit more of you guys to jump into the live chat before we do get it going. Ooh, that's not good. What just happened? Let me check one thing. My camera just flickered for a second there, pretty weirdly. And I think we're okay. All right, so SmackDown opened up with Miz TV. Miz came out and said, sometimes when you need help, you got to look to your brother, someone like a brother. Miz received a mix of cheers and boos here. Miz admitted that he's having a bad day last week, and Kingston's positivity made him furious. He apologized to Kingston for his actions last week. He talked about the last month and it being a bad month for him, and him things with the Fiend not going well and all of that. And then he said that a good friend who was like a brother came to help him, and Miz would introduce his guest and former tag team partner, John Morrison. Crowd chanted, "Welcome back" to Morrison, and Miz stated, "We're the greatest tag team of the 21st century." Miz welcomed Morrison back to WWE. Morrison talked about his original plan as far as coming back at the Royal Rumble. He said they wanted to do a big old Chronicle special on it. WWE wanted me to have a special entrance with new music. They were going to have Pomeranians pull me out to the ring. And he goes, and it's got to be little dogs, because you can only have one big dog in the WWE. I thought that was a funny line. So then Morrison goes, I came back early, though, because I saw someone that I'm close with, one of my best friends, was in need. And what did you all do? Basically said that the crowd crapped on Miz. and didn't help him at all when he needed them. And he starts ripping on the fans for not respecting Miz. He began insulting fans in the front row. Morrison seemed a bit shaky and a bit off. I think being gone for almost 10 years and not being so scripted. He's trying to get back into that WWE mode of being extra scripted. Now, I don't know how scripted Lucha Underground was, because that was a scripted television show. But yeah, he just seemed like there was a couple times where he was just talking and then he'd go and keep talking again. Like he was, I don't know, because he's an actor. You would think he'd be good with lines. I mean, have you seen Boone the Bounty Hunter? Anyways, New Day's music would hit. Big E and Kofi Kingston would come down. Big E said that he didn't believe Miz's apology because he's no good of an actor. Big E joked that Miz can't even land roles as the back end of the human centipede. He then says, I've seen your audition tape. I was like, oh, bad joke. Miz said he respected Kofi Kingston for winning the WWE Championship and then mocked him for losing it in 6 or 7 seconds. Kingston corrected him and said, he said, and I also respect you losing it in 6 seconds. And Kofi goes, it was 8 seconds. And he said, Miz, you've changed. He said, the Miz is not cool anymore. And Kingston led the fans in chanting, you suck at the Miz. We then got the Miz versus Kofi Kingston. At first, John Morrison and Big E joined commentary with Corey Graves and Michael Cole. Miz blocked a monkey flip attempt early and then went for a figure 4 leg lock. Kingston rolled up Miz for a close near fall. Miz recovered and used a chin lock to slow down the pace. Kingston made a comeback and hit a back elbow. He followed it up with a suicide dive. Miz then shoved Kingston into Big E. Morrison and Big E both left commentary and jumped at ringside. Excuse me. Kingston fought back and hit the boom drop. He attempted the Trouble in Paradise, but Miz blocked the move and attacked the leg. Kingston recovered and hit a crossbody for a close 2 count. Miz regained control and hit a DDT for a near fall. A little bit later, Kofi went for the SOS for a very close 2 count. Kingston leaped off the top, but Miz attacked the leg. He followed up by applying the figure 4, but Kingston made it to the ropes. Miz got in Big E's face at one point at ringside, and Morrison did one of his flip, jump, leap deals off of the steps, his parkour moves, onto Big E. Kingston was distracted by this. Miz hit a skull-crushing finale and picked up the victory. We did learn later on in the show, a little fast-forward action here, Kofi Kingston, no, Big E will be taking on John Morrison next week, and Morrison's return match, first match since John Morrison. I know his last match was with The Miz. Can't remember the exact date. November 28th, 2011, I believe it was. The last time John Morrison had a match in WWE. So, 8-9 years since his last match. About 8 since it's the beginning of 2020. And that was the end of 2011. So, yeah. Morrison versus Big E announced for next week. It's inevitable that this leads to Miz and Morrison challenging for the tag titles. I mean, we all see it coming. They then went to a Firefly Funhouse. He asked the camera to come closer and said, he loves you. Wyatt told Brian that he's in a lot of trouble, though. He first wanted Brian to remember, and then aired clips of Brian joining the Wyatt family back in 2014. Then he tried to change him. He said that he was always hurt, that Brian never joined the family. Wyatt's furious that Brian gets another title shot. Kind of not fair, he said. He promised to defeat Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble. He said, bye, I love you, except Daniel Bryan. So in the back, Sonya Deville spoke with Mandy Rose. She was trying to hype her up for her match. And Deville said, okay, I'm going to come with you this time. I'm going to be at ringside. And Mandy goes, well, I'll meet you there. I've got one thing I need to do. And she had this big old cake box. So in the ring, Elias sang a song about winning the Royal Rumble. He mentioned Brock Lesnar and promised to throw him out. In the back, Otis and Tucker were getting ready for I don't know what, because they had no match tonight, when Mandy Rose approached them. She apologized for letting Dolph stomp on the fruitcake, and then said, I've made this for you. I've had this for you, Otis. And it was a cake that read, I'm sorry. Otis was thrilled. Tucker was a little iffy on her apology, I guess you can say. And then Mandy says, well, sorry, I got to just run. I got a match. And we did get Mandy Rose versus Alexa Bliss. We did learn that Alexa and Nikki have joined into the Royal Rumble. And I believe they also said Mandy and Sonya are in the Rumble as well. So Rose shoved Bliss until she snapped and attacked back. Rose briefly took over, but Bliss recovered. Bliss hit a sliding dropkick to the floor. DeVille distracted Bliss and cross-pulled DeVille off the apron. Rose caught Bliss with a knee as she entered the ring. So Bliss hit a double knees on Mandy Rose when Heavy Machinery's music would hit. Alexa was going for a DDT. She's got Mandy in the DDT position, but she's just staring at the top of the ramp as Heavy Machinery walks out. And she's just... Mandy finally struggles, gets out of the DDT, and rolls up Alexa Bliss. Alexa did not... She looked like such a dork being distracted by Heavy Machinery just walking out and Otis eating the cake. Like, she was just staring up at the top of the ramp. Like, what happened? What's going on? Oh my God, are they going to come attack me? So after the match, after Mandy won, Otis is eating the cake. He grabbed a piece, kind of like, Mandy, you want it? And Mandy was kind of like, Like she was kind of smitten by Otis a little bit. So I don't know if this is going to go full on give them a date or not, but we'll see where this leads to. Mandy and Otis sitting in a tree, Kissing. So next up we got Lacey Evans. Well, what we thought was going to be Lacey Evans versus Sasha Banks. Evans made her way down to the ring, as her SmackDown stats included calling her Mother of One. Sasha's music hit. She didn't come out. Corey Graves said that this is just a veteran playing mind games with her opponent. But then all of a sudden, Bayley, SmackDown Women's Champion, appeared on the Titantron. She said, unfortunately, Sasha's not here. She took a better booking in Los Angeles. Studio time came up and, well, she's got to finish her rap album. Evans noted that she's ready to fight anywhere, anytime, especially here in the heartland of America, and the crowd in Evansville, Indiana broke out in a USA chant. Evans then said, well, Bayley, if you're here, why don't you come down to this ring, fight me, and put your title on the line? Bayley noted that, you're not my mom. I don't have to do what you say. I'm not your snot-nosed kid. Evans threw down the mic and ran to the back. So in the back, Evans approached Bayley in the locker room, and suddenly Bayley attacked her from behind. She told Evans to go home and put her mom jeans on. As Bayley was starting to walk off, Lacey Evans rose to her feet. Just like rose to her feet. Angry mama bear look, and just attacks Bayley. Just puts the boots to her before a referee pulls her away. And yeah, I assume Lacey challenges for that title maybe at Royal Rumble. Maybe next week. I don't know. They then recap Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns versus King Corbin and Dolph Ziggler from last week. Kayla Braxton interviewed Daniel Bryan. Bryan noted that he knows that Bray Wyatt can be beaten, and he will beat him at the Royal Rumble. Suddenly, the TV behind him started glitching. Ramblin' Rabbit appeared on the screen. He told Bryan, I know how to defeat the Fiend. I know his secrets. Oh, you've got to... And then Bray Wyatt appeared, covered the mouth of Ramblin' Rabbit, and he said, you know what they say, snitches get stitches. Let me in. Daniel Bryan looked a little perturbed, and in the end, we went to the ring, as we had Braun Strowman challenging Shinsuke Nakamura in a non-title match. They recapped Strowman defeating Cesaro last week and Nakamura hitting the Kinshasa after the match. Strowman dominated Nakamura in the early moments of this match. Strowman missed a splash in the corner and Nakamura took over. After commercial break, Nakamura was still firmly in control and applied a chin lock to slow down the pace. Strowman at one point rocked Nakamura with a hard clothesline and followed it up with a shoulder tackle. He then hit a big splash in the corner. Strowman went for a power slam, but Nakamura slipped out and hit a knee for a near fall. Strowman hit a huge spine buster. Zayn tried to distract the referee, and Cesaro slipped in with a chair. Referee caught Cesaro, and Strowman knocked him out of the ring. Sami Zayn passed Nakamura the Intercontinental Championship. He tried to hit Strowman with it, but he ducked and got a power slam for his trouble, with Braun Strowman picking up the victory. So again, building towards another title match. WWE, at least on SmackDown, is doing really well with building up their challengers and letting us basically know this person, they're getting the next title shot. This person, they're getting the next title shot. I think they're doing a good job, at least on SmackDown, of that, of building up their challengers and making people seem like, okay, I understand why they're in contention, why they're going for the belt, why they're in line. They've been doing good things. The story's progressing. It all makes sense, actually. On Raw, a little bit more convoluted with the championship reigns and challengers. So kudos to whoever's running SmackDown. I think it's Bruce Pritchard and Vince, unlike Raw, where it's Vince and Heyman. So in the back, Sheamus mocked Shorty G and showed footage of him attacking him last week. Actually, I think it was last week. In the locker room, Daniel Bryan found a present waiting for him. He unwrapped it to find a nearly decapitated Ramblin' Rabbit. Half of his head was basically ripped off. Roman Reigns would then make his way down to the ring. Talked about 2019 being such a blessed year, but it had a rough ending. Roman pointed out, I've always had backup here in the WWE. I've always had some backup. But this time, I needed more than just friends. I needed family. Roman said because of that, 2020, going to be my year. He promised to win the Royal Rumble and headline WrestleMania for a 5th time. Usos would then make their way out. They talked about sitting on the sidelines and it being tough just watching Queen Corbin attacking Reigns. They noted if you mess with one of us, you disrespect the whole family. Corbin and Ziggler came out before they can finish their catchphrase. Corbin promised to win, said that Roman's just passing his beating off on his family. Reigns then challenged Corbin to a match at the Royal Rumble. He accepted. So I guess also so looks like we're getting Roman versus Corbin in a singles match, and Roman's in the Rumble. I assume Corbin's in the Rumble, so they're working double duty, it looks like. Corbin mocked the Usos and Roman Reigns. The Usos hit a dive over the top onto Corbin's security. So then we got King Corbin and Dolph Ziggler taking on the Usos. Heels had the early advantage as they isolated Jay in their corner. Jimmy got the hot tag at one point and started running wild. He climbed to the top when the music of the Revival would hit and distract Jimmy Uso. Jimmy was distracted and Corbin knocked him off the top rope. He fell to the floor and the Revival came down to ringside. Didn't touch anybody, just caused a distraction. They then went to leave. Literally, they were out there for less than 30 seconds. They went to leave, walked up the ramp. Reigns' music would hit, and he hit both men at one time with a Superman punch. After a break, Jay was in control and rocked Corbin with a super kick. Jimmy hit a dive over the top, but Corbin caught him and threw him into Reigns. Kind of weird that Roman was there. Match starts and Roman goes back to the back. Doesn't stay at ringside, but then just comes back out anyways. Corbin jumped Jay and threw him into the ring post. Reigns then hit a spear on Corbin on the floor to cause a disqualification. So Corbin and Ziggler technically win. Reigns then cleared the announce table when suddenly Robert Roode made his big return. I guess you could say big return. Made his return and jumped Reigns. Roode looked like he had bulked up and leaned out a little bit. Heels took over and beat down Reigns and the Usos. Roode gave Reigns a spine buster on the announce table, and Ziggler hit an elbow on Reigns to go through the table. They then buried Reigns under the broken table with some chairs as the show went off the air. good return from Robert Roode. I expected this would happen. I'd heard he was coming back this week. And I even said it yesterday in my video where I talked about this match being announced. I said, hey, don't be surprised if Roode's back on Friday. His suspension was up yesterday, so he's back tonight. Like, they didn't wait. They had a plan. They knew what they wanted to do. They got Robert Roode back. With that, we do have a couple text messages to read here before we wrap everything up. If you want to send in your thoughts, you can do so at 510-906-1341. Again, you can text in at 510-906-1341. This person here does state. So they're just asking if I can clarify, is it Roman versus Corbin in a singles match and also both of them working the Rumble? That's what it seems like as far as the way Roman challenged Corbin and Corbin accepted tonight. This person says, do you think Miz and Morrison win the tag titles at the Royal Rumble? I mean, I think it would be a good idea for them to win it, especially in Morrison's first big match back. I can see them losing, but maybe losing in a way where you extend the feud and they challenge again. I don't see this feud as a one and done, to be honest. This person asks here, is Miz a heel now? Yes. Miz is full-blown Miz heel, which I like Miz as a heel. Miz is just a great heel. He's really, really good at getting people to not like him. Just looking here, see if I can get this one to load. This person here says, is Elias officially in the Rumble? Last week and this week he talked about being in the Rumble, but WWE did not acknowledge him as far as him entering into the Rumble. I believe so. Like I said, last week, and then like the text said as well, he said he wanted to be in the Rumble, but then when WWE sent out their tweet on here are all the men that are in the Rumble, well, he wasn't listed. So I assume Elias is in the Rumble. This person here says, what if Walter enters the Rumble at number 2 so we can get Brock versus Walter? I could see him maybe entering. I would not put him in number 2. Because whoever's in number 2, Brock is going to just destroy. Number 2's got to be somebody like, I don't know, a Zack Ryder. I could be completely wrong about this. But in my thinking of this, I think number 2 needs to be somebody that Brock can destroy in like 30 seconds, if not more, or not quicker. And then he just goes, okay, I destroyed this guy, eliminated this guy. I'm just going to sit around and wait. Kind of like when AJ debuted in the Rumble. Roman came in Roman came in number 2. I can't remember who number 1 was. Maybe Dolph? Let me know in the comments below who came in 1-2 in the 2016 Royal Rumble. And so Roman, just threw out whoever was, in there with him. And he just paced around, waited about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, paced around, and then out came AJ. I can see Brock doing something like that, throwing somebody out super quick, and then just waiting, and then somebody else comes down. He throws them out really quick. I think the first 2 or 3 people, Brock should just huck right out. Don't give him more than 10 seconds. F5, throw him out. So you got like a I don't know, Drake Maverick. Oh, you're right, Gamer PB. It was Rusev. That's right. Marshall Hansen as well. It was Rusev. That's right. Roman was 1, Rusev was 2. Now you say it, I completely remember. But I think Brock should do a whole, all right, or they should do a Zack Ryder comes in number 2. He gets destroyed. Drake Maverick comes out number 3 or something. He gets even quicker destroyed. And Brock's just waiting around until finally somebody comes in that Brock doesn't eliminate quick enough before the next person comes out because he puts up a fight, whether that's like a Matt Riddle or a Kofi Kingston, where they finally let Kofi get some offense on Brock. We'll see. This person here says, Ruby Riott return his Sister Abigail. Guys, enough. We're not getting a Sister Abigail. They tried in 2017 to make Bray Sister Abigail. They don't need to do it. He doesn't talk about her anymore. I don't know how many times I get this question. Is Liv Morgan Sister Abigail? Is Paige Sister Abigail? Oh, is Ruby Riott Sister Abigail? No, Ruby Riott's Ruby Riott. Liv Morgan's Liv Morgan. Paige is Paige. We don't need Sister Abigail. I actually like that she's a mysterious, ominous figure that we never meet. I like that better for the character of Sister Abigail, to be 100% completely honest. This person asks the same thing that... Oh, this person says, you see Miz and Morrison feuding all the way till WrestleMania. Probably not that long, because that would be too drawn out. I mean, there's ways to do it, but I don't see them getting the big match. Like, especially if they get the title match at Royal Rumble, you don't want to do the same thing at Rumble that you do at WrestleMania. You just don't. But with that, I do want to say thank you guys for joining me here to talk about Friday Night Smackdown. We will be live again this Sunday, possibly twice. We will be live at least once to talk about NXT UK Takeover Blackpool. We will be doing a live show after that one. And we may be doing a live show after Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill. I'm going to try to watch it live. If I don't watch it live, then I'll just do a pre-recorded recap, kind of a quick 5-10 minute recap of that. But if I do get the chance to watch Hard to Kill live, then I will do a full review of it after the show is over. So with that, again, I want to say thank you guys for joining me here to talk about SmackDown. Thank you to everybody who watches later right here on YouTube. And thank you to everybody who listens on podcast services all around the world like iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Melvin Benton, no. Seth is not winning the Royal Rumble 2 years in a row. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you on Sunday.